So guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Wilson Ultra version 5 Pro 99. I think that's what it's called. It's got a lot of names. Big thank you to All Things Tennis for supplying me with the racket. If you like the look of the Wilson Ultra version 5 Pro, you can head over to the description below where I've attached the link. It's not an affiliate link, so I don't earn any money, just to be very clear. I'm just doing this racket review to help guys out, being able to choose the right racket for you. So the specs, obviously we know already, it's got a 99 square inch head, 16-18 string pattern, and it's 305 grams in weight. So for me, this sits pretty perfectly, in that kind of racket range at the minute that every brand seems to be going after, which is kind of, a bit of control, bit of spin, bit of power, kind of combination of everything. So less of me talking, more of me playing. Let's get into the review. Actually, before we get into the review, I'm actually trialing a new way of testing the racket. So I've got a load of categories: aesthetic, control, spin, power, how it performs from the baseline, how it performs at the net, serving, and then my honest thoughts about how I feel about it in the points. So we're going to score them all out of 10, and then that makes it a lot easier to then compare it to other rackets, and then you can really find what you're looking for. So I'm going to trial that. Let me know what you guys think to it in the comments. It just adds a little bit more organization to this whole thing, less random. But yeah, I thought that'd be a good idea. So we're going to trial that for this video, and like I say, let me know. Anyway, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the aesthetic. I think this is really important these days. Rackets are only getting more vibrant, more exciting. Honestly, the electric blue, as eye-catching as it is, and it's quite satisfying, I think, having it in gloss, and it looks awesome. I think it kind of goes against that classic Wilson red in a way. It kind of feels a bit unnatural, but I think it looks really cool. I think that it's definitely one of the best looking rackets out there, definitely one of the most eye-catching. For me, I think it looks awesome. I'm probably going to score this a solid 7 out of 10, I think, as paint jobs go. What do you think? Ella's behind the camera. She's my style guru. What do you think to the color combos?
Definitely a 9.
Ella's calling it a 9. Is that so? We're calling it a 9?
It's pretty cool.
Okay,
and the red goes.
Okay, Ella really likes the red, subtle kind of things there, and
but it tells the red.
Yeah, and then there's little kind of subtle things in there, like these little kind of tealy coloured grommets and nice touches. Okay, we'll go 9.
It goes with Ella's outfit.
Okay, it goes with Ella's outfits. We'll go 9. Okay, next category.
So the Wilson Ultra Pro 99 is basically the same racket as the Wilson Steam that was brought out about 10 to 15 years ago. Very popular racket at the time, and many pros today still use it. And this is actually my first time using this frame. I've never tested this racket out before, so I was very keen to see if I could get on with it. And straight away, just hitting with this racket from the baseline, I really felt like I had to adjust the way that I was hitting the ball. I wouldn't say that the Ultra was uncontrollable, but it was definitely powerful. It was actually quite a bit more powerful than I was expecting, and it took me a good 10 to 15 minutes to really find my range from the baseline. I even had to adjust the size of my backswings a little bit, making them a little bit smaller and more compact just to control the ball. And at times, I was barely even trying. But the ball was really popping off this racket in a way that made height and shape over the net, depth, really easy to achieve. The Ultra is definitely at home at the baseline. And although it's probably not a racket that would really suit my game or the way that I play, it was definitely fun to hit with. And I can see this racket being very popular among players who like to play predominantly from the baseline. And that's why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 from the baseline. So moving on to the Ultra's ability to generate spin. As you'd probably expect with a 16-18 string pattern and 99 square inch head, this thing is a bit of a spin demon. For me, it really didn't feel difficult to generate spin with the Ultra. As I said before, that 16-18 string pattern definitely helps, but so does the maneuverability of the racket. Before hitting with it, the racket felt a little bit bulky, especially at the throat, and I wasn't sure how maneuverable it was going to be. But once you commit to the swing with this thing, it moves fast through the air. And so for me, I'm going to score the Ultra pretty highly in the spin category as well. I'm going to give it an 8. I can really see the Ultra being effective on a slow outdoor hard court where generating spin is key, or maybe even a clay court. In my opinion, fast indoor courts probably aren't the best setting for it, unless you've got very good control and feel. And that brings us on to our next category. So I've heard a few people who reviewed this racket say that it gives them quite a lot of control, and to be honest, I wasn't really feeling that. This racket isn't a boomstick, but it's definitely leaning towards that. The way that I would describe it is a Blade Pro on steroids. It gives you a very solid, kind of stable, pro-stocky feeling. I hate to use the word pro stock because everyone says that, but we'll roll with it. But at times when I felt like I slightly caught the ball wrong, or maybe the ball came in a lot quicker, I just felt like the ball had a tendency to sail long. And at times it felt a little bit unpredictable. And for that reason, I'm gonna give the Ultra a 6 out of 10 for control and feel. I know, harsh, right? Anyway, let's venture to the net and see if I can make the Ultra work for me. The actual contact on the strings felt fantastic, and the racket felt solid and stable on impact, even if I was slightly off center. But something on the volleys which is key is keeping the ball low, and I was actually really struggling to keep the ball low and direct over the net, and it kind of resulted in me taking a little bit of pace off my volleys, and I was just seeing that the ball was slightly sitting up on my opponent's side on average. Comparing it to something like my Pro Staff, the Blade Pro, or even the Head Extreme Pro, I just didn't feel like the Ultra performed as well at the net in comparison to those rackets. But don't get me wrong, that's probably me being super picky, and that's just what I'm used to. So at the net, I'm actually going to give the Ultra a 7 out of 10. Next up, we decided to get into the fun stuff. Points off the ground. Who doesn't love a little cheeky tiebreak to 10? The whole of this session, I was trying to think of a racket that was similar in feeling and performance to the Ultra Pro 99. And for me, it was really giving me Head Gravity Tour vibes. In my opinion, the setup is pretty similar. They both have that very pro stock feeling to them, just really high quality frames. And they both have pretty big gaps in between the strings, allowing for more power and spin, and also a few more restrings. When I tested the Gravity Tour, especially in the points, I was finding that as long as I really committed to the shot, I could trust the racket to perform. And this was very similar. When I fully committed to the shot, it did so much of the work for me. Really effortless power, a lot of spin, and surprisingly, a decent amount of control on the move. I still slightly struggled controlling the ball when it came in quicker, but obviously, as you know, I'm a Pro Staff user, so I'm pretty spoilt for control in all areas of the court. And sometimes it takes me a little while to adjust to the more powerful rackets. But the more I hit with the Ultra, the more I was finding my range. So it was time to give serving a go. To be honest, the Ultra was a way better serving racket than I expected. I was struggling a little bit with the flatter serves to really get the precision that I wanted, but it just performed so well on any serves that I needed to generate spin. I know that we're playing on indoor carpet, but the ball was just moving so much, and you'll be able to see how much it's moving on my opponent's side. And off the ground, I can't deny that I was having a lot of fun just going after my ground strokes. If you go after the ball with this thing, you just get rewarded so much. I was probably hitting the ball unnecessarily hard at some points, but it was fun, so hey. On the returning, the Ultra gave me control through power. Basically, serves coming in quick, racket's powerful. All I need to do is just stick the racket out, barely put anything on the return, and just let the racket do the work. And I was actually achieving a pretty decent level of consistency and really good depth actually on the returns. But it was actually quite similar to the Head Gravity Tour. When it came to big points and it was slightly harder to commit fully to the shot, I found myself not being able to trust it as much as something like a Pro Staff or a Blade Pro, maybe even the Aero 98. But I guess the Ultra Pro 99 gives you a little bit more than those rackets in other areas, like power and definitely comfort. Did hit some joke shots with it though. And for that reason, I'm gonna give the Ultra Pro 99 an 8 out of 10 when it came to points with serve. So in total, the Ultra Pro 99 scored a very respectable 55 out of 70 on the new HOD racket scale. Is that what we're going to call it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think the new racket scale should be called, if you like it. And also let me know what you think to the new format of the racket reviews. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And also, if you've tried the Ultra Pro 99, let me know what you think. Do you like it? Do you love it? I won't judge you. I liked it quite a lot. But anyway, this is where I'm gonna have to leave you until next time. As ever, massive thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, then what the hell are you doing? Smash that subscribe button. And if you want to go further, maybe turn those notifications on. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. I'll just leave you with this beautiful forehand down the line. See you next time.